Hello children, welcome to our physics class. Let's continue with the revision of the same chapter 8 motion. So in the last class we had discussed about graphs and we discussed about the distance time graph. We also discussed how to calculate speed from the distance time graph. Today we are going to discuss another type of graph in this chapter, that is velocity time graph. Here you can see two velocity time graphs. In velocity time graph, velocity is plotted along y-axis and time is plotted along x-axis, as you can see in this figure. So first graph is a straight line passing through the origin. This means velocity of the object increases equally with equal intervals of time. And you had already studied such type of motion is known as uniformly accelerated motion. So this graph is the graph for uniform acceleration. Now look at this graph. Here you can see the velocity change is not equal with respect to time. Okay, so the velocity changes in unequal amounts with equal intervals of time. So such type of motion is non-uniformly accelerated motion. So this graph is the graph for non-uniform acceleration. So what is the nature of the velocity time graph for uniform acceleration and non-uniform acceleration? Yes, for uniform acceleration, velocity time graph is a straight line passing from the origin. Okay, and for non-uniform acceleration, velocity time graph is a curved line. Now, we had studied the slope of distance time graph gives us speed. Similarly, the slope of velocity time graph gives us another physical quantity. What is it? So let's look at this diagram or look at this graph. Here you can see, you know how to take the slope. So consider any 2 points on the velocity time graph, and you should consider the velocity time graph for a uniformly accelerated motion. Then only you can take the slope from the graph. Here consider any 2 points on the graph, and from those 2 points draw normals to the x-axis and to the y-axis as shown here. Now here to the y-axis 2 normals are drawn, which meets the y-axis at points v1 and v2, and from the 2 points 2 normals are drawn towards the x-axis, which meets the time axis at the points t1 and t2. Just consider the difference between these 2 points. Here the difference is v2 minus v1. Here the difference is t2 minus t1. So v2 minus v1 divided by t2 minus t1 is the slope of this graph, and that slope gives us which physical quantity? Acceleration. So the slope of velocity time graph gives us acceleration. Okay, slope of distance time graph gives us speed, but the slope of velocity time graph gives us acceleration. That's a very important question. Don't get confused between these two questions. It's very, very important. But at the same time, the area below this velocity time graph gives us displacement. Okay, the area below, not the slope, area below the velocity time graph gives us displacement. So you can just note down these 3 points in your notebook. The slope of distance time graph gives us speed. Slope of velocity time graph gives us acceleration. Area under velocity time graph gives us displacement. Okay, magnitude of displacement. See, what I told you just now has been shown here. Consider the area below the graph. This shaded portion represents the area below the graph. So if we want to find out area below the graph between the time intervals t2 and t1, time interval is also very important. So within the time interval t1 to t2, the area below this velocity time graph gives us the displacement of the object from t1 to t2. it's not possible to find out the displacement of the object throughout the whole journey through this shaded portion, because we have shaded the portion just between the points T1 and T2. We have not shaded the whole portion below the graph. So if you want to find out the displacement of the object throughout the journey, you should consider the whole portion below this graph. But if you want to find out the displacement of the object between any 2 points on the time axis, then just shade those area respective to the time and then find out the area under that shaded region. That area will be equal to displacement. Okay. Now, equations of motions is very important concept in this chapter. So there are 3 equations of motion. So Newton has given those equations of motion in order to study the motion in one dimension. Okay, it's very important equations in mechanics. So our first equation of motion is V is equal to U plus AT. I hope you remember this expression. First expression is V is equal to U plus AT, and we are going to derive this expression. In order to derive this expression, we need to consider this velocity time graph. So you can see this line. Okay, so this is the velocity time graph, which means it is a uniformly accelerated motion. And you can notice one thing, here the graph does not start from origin. Graph start from this point, which means the object has some initial velocity, and that initial velocity is OA, and OA is equal to U, which has been marked in this graph. And similarly, the distance OE, this distance OE is V, that is the final velocity, because it is the point corresponding to the final position B of the object. So OA is U, OA is U, and OE is V. Okay. So from the graph, draw 2 lines. One line normal to the y-axis, which meets at the point E, and another line normal to x-axis, which meets the x-axis at the point T. Now from here, draw another normal which joins A to D. This line, A to D. Now from this graph, what is BD? Okay, from the graph just find out BD. What is BD? See, this is B and this is D. So what is BD? From the graph it is very clear. BD is BC minus CD, isn't it? BD is BC minus CD. So that is written here. BD is BC minus CD. And what is this BC? This is BC. And BC is equivalent to OE, isn't it? And OE is equal to V. So OE is equal to BC, and that is equal to V. So BC is V. Then consider CD. What is CD? So this is CD. And the CD is equivalent to OA. And what is OA? OA is U. So this OA is equal to CD, and which in turn is equal to U. So BC minus CD can be written as V minus U. Now, what is acceleration? Acceleration expression is change in velocity by time. Now, from this graph, acceleration A is equal to BD by AC. Why? Because change in velocity is V minus U, isn't it? V minus U. And from the expression, we got BD is equal to V minus U. So instead of V minus U, you can write BD. So acceleration is change in velocity by time. Change in velocity is V minus U. V minus U is equal to BD. So here you can write acceleration A is equal to BD by time. See, this is the time axis, and for time you can consider this is the time axis AD. AD is equal to OC, and that is equal to T. So acceleration A is equal to BD by T. From this it is very clear BD is equal to AT. And what is BD? BD is V minus U. We got in the first expression. So V minus U is equal to AT, or V is equal to U plus AT. So we have derived the first equation of motion. Now let's go to the second equation of motion. See, second equation of motion, that is S is equal to ut plus half at square. We are going to derive that expression. For that also we need to consider the same velocity time graph, but this time we are considering the area below the velocity time graph. So you can see this shaded portion represents the area below the velocity time graph, and that area has been divided into two regions. Okay, so one is that of a triangular region and second one that of a rectangular region. So the total area below the velocity time graph will be area of this triangle ADB and area of this rectangle OADC, isn't it? So that is written here. So, and we had already studied area below the graph gives us what? Displacement. So displacement S is equal to area below the graph, and that area has been divided into triangle and rectangle. So the area will be area of rectangle OADC plus area of triangle ABD. Now what is area of rectangle? It is length into breadth. So this is the length of the rectangle and this is the breadth of the rectangle. So length is OC, which is equal to time T. So length is OC and breadth is OA. Now what is area of triangle? Area of triangle is half BH, isn't it? So here it is half into, which is the base area, base of the triangle is AD. AD is the base, and what is the height of the triangle? Height of the triangle is BD. Okay, so that is written here, half into AD into BD. Now what substitute for OA, OC, AD and BD? What is OA? OA is U. Then what is OC? OC is time T. So, and what is BD? From the previous expression we got BD is equal to V minus U, isn't it? Or also, sorry, not V minus U, we got BD is equal to AT from the previous expression. So substitute all these things in this equation. So OA into OC will be equal to U into T, isn't it? OA into OC will be U into T plus half into AD. What is AD? AD is also T. This is AD. That is equal to T because it is parallel to time axis. Then BD. What is BD? BD is AT. So you will get S is equal to UT plus half AT square, because T into T, T square. So this is the displacement expression from this graph, and this is our second equation of motion. Now let's derive the third equation of motion. So this is our third equation of motion. 2a is equal to v square minus a square. In order to obtain this expression, we are considering the same graph and we are also finding out the area below this graph. But this time we are not going to divide that area into trapezium or triangle. Sorry, we are not going to divide that area into triangle or rectangle. We are considering the area in the form of trapezium. That means we are considering this whole area in the form of a trapezium. Okay, so here now displacement is equal to area of this trapezium OABDC. Okay, so or OABC, that is enough. Area of the trapezium OABC. Now what is the expression to find out area of trapezium? Area of trapezium is half into sum of parallel sides into height, isn't it? This is the expression. So our displacement S is equal to area of trapezium OABC, and area is half into sum of parallel sides. So which is the parallel side here? OA and BC is the parallel side, isn't it? So sum of parallel side will become OA plus BC into height. What is the height or base of the trapezium? That is OC. OC is the base. Now substitute for OA and BC. Then you will get OA is U from the graph, BC is V from the graph, and OC is T. So here you will get displacement S is equal to U plus V into T by 2. Okay, U plus V, put U plus V in this bracket as a whole, into T by 2. Now what is T? From the previous expression we had studied acceleration, A is equal to V minus U by T, isn't it? So therefore T is equal to V minus U by A. So instead of T, substitute V minus U by A. And when you substitute V minus U by A, you will get 2AS is equal to V square minus U square. How? See, just listen here. So we have got displacement S is equal to half into U plus V into time T, and this T can be written as V minus U by T. Sorry, V minus U by A. Okay, that is expression for T. Now is equal to half into, see, this U plus V can be considered as V plus U, isn't it? So this is V plus U, this is V minus U. A plus B into A minus B form. So A plus B into A minus B is A square minus B square. So V plus U into V minus U will be V square minus U square. So you will get V square minus U square by A. So S is equal to half into V square minus U square divided by A. Then take this 2A to LHS part. Just cross multiply. So you will get 2AS is equal to V square minus U square. So this is our third equation of motion. Now let's move on to our last topic of this chapter, uniform circular motion. So what do you mean by uniform circular motion? When an object moves in a circular path with uniform speed, its motion is called uniform circular motion. And the most important concept is uniform circular motion an accelerated motion? You may think it is a uniform motion. In uniform motion, speed remains the same. Then from where do we get the acceleration? Children, it's wrong. Uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion. Why? Because you can consider this circle, and here you can see, if we consider different points A, B, C, D, E, like this, at each point the object changes its direction, isn't it? Here the object goes through this way, and on reaching B it changes its direction, on reaching C it again changes its direction, on reaching D it again changes its direction, isn't it? So at each point on the circle the object changes its direction. And velocity means it is a combination of speed with direction. So if any one changes, velocity will change. Even if speed changes, velocity will change. Even if direction alone changes, velocity will change. So here speed remains constant but direction changes. Okay, so there is a change in velocity, so it's a accelerated motion. So uniform circular motion is an accelerated motion. It's a very important concept. You can expect this question for your exams as well. Okay. So with this I am concluding the revision of this chapter. We will meet in the next session. Take care of all of you. Test questions have been uploaded. Attend the test paper and send me the answers quickly. Thank you.